Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, and welcome to this live session. How are you doing? So, if you join me live, drop in the comment section that you are watching me. Don't be at the background. Say hi and a hello. Tell me where you're watching from. Right? Welcome to this session and thank you for joining me live. And if you're catching the replay, thank you also for stopping by and catching the replay. Welcome. My name is Vivian Annie and I'm the founder of the Proactive Parents Academy and I am also a parent coach. So whenever you come to this channel, just know that you'll be good getting lots of value. Sorry about that. Okay. Who is here with me? Sorry about that. That was a bit of a network hitch. Thank you so much, Jane, for joining. Thank you. Invite all the friends and family, tag everyone on this video so that they can be part of this conversation in the next few minutes. We are done with today's session because it's just going to be a very short one, right? So thank you for joining. Whenever you stop by here, make sure you subscribe if you've not subscribed. Click the notification button so that whenever we drop our videos, whenever we come live, you get notification that we're sharing something important that you need to have or need to learn as a parent, right? In this channel, we promise to give you loads of value on parenting and family life together, right? So welcome. Thank you for joining today's session. So what are we talking about today? We are looking at how to teach a child to speak up. Yes. Right. Someone will be saying, like, do you need to teach a child to speak up? You just normally tell a child to open your mouth, talk to me, go, what happened, and all of those things, right? But I want to come from another dimension today so that you know that everything must be taught. Many of the things that we do as parents is that we assume that the children should know a certain thing or do a certain thing a certain way, right? But we do not know that assumption is, we say anything done on assumption is on probability, right? So you need to understand that and get to use everything and every teachable moment to be productive in your journey, right? So why are we talking about how to teach a child how to speak up, right? The reason why we are sharing this thing is because many of us have not come to term that we are living in an evolving world, right? We are living in an evolving society. We are living in an evolving, globalized community. And we also do have not come to terms that there are skills that the evolving community or the evolving world or the evolving um, global contemporary society that we live in requires that we have as parents, right? So, like we usually say that we live in a modern time, things are changing. We say these things, but we don't put into practice things that will actually help us, use the skills or teach our children the skills or even learn the skills ourselves that is required for things to work for us in the ever changing world, right? In the ever evolving world. And that's why we're having this conversation, right? So we know that um, things are changing, the world is globalizing, and we accept all of these things in every other area of life except parenting. So when I talk to parents, I usually ask, you have come to terms with the change of things, tech has taken over, we are learning so much, dimensions of innovations, things are being, creativity is at its peak, and many other things that are involving. And the involving the evolving world we live in is not just on a particular area. Everything is evolving in the field of medicine, in the field of health, in the field of agriculture, in the field of entertainment. Every area of human life is evolving. The only place that is not evolving or that we are fighting and stifling is parenting. And I usually ask, why are we not accepting the evolving nature of everything except parenting, right? And that's why I want us to see it from this angle and be able to put things into perspective, right? Because until we do that, we are not able to do what is required of us as parents in the evolving world, right? So parenting. So the evolving world that we live in today requires many skills, and one of those skills that we need to teach our children, and we must have it to be able to teach our children, is social skills. Now, research has shown that social skills are at the top of the burners of the skills that is required for every child to thrive in the 21st century. And that's why we are having this conversation, right? Because there are many things we don't even know. We don't even understand that these things are skills. And until we build them for our children, we're not able to do so much or to help our children achieve those areas of life where they need to work on to be able to thrive, right? So, in the contemporary world where we live, in the ever evolving world where we live, one of the things that like I've shared earlier is we stifle our children, we stifle ourselves to learn parenting, because for us, parenting is an innate thing. You just become a parent and you have it all sorted out, like you know what to do with your child because he's your child or she's your child. But that's a wrong narrative that we have run with over the years, and we have seen that it does not produce results, right? Or rather, the results that it produces at the end of the day attacks humanity. So we must work with intentionality and consciousness to be able to deliberately deliver our children to become thriving humans, thriving people, right? That's why we're having this conversation, because the parenting skills that was handed over to us, that we have always known, that our parents also use, that their own parents also use, it has always been the same thing, is the parenting skills that says, oh, you need to threaten this child for him to know that you are their parent. You need to shout for him so that he can understand. You need to reset his brain with a hot slap. You need to dominate. You need to show him that you have the power or you are the authority here. You need to control him to walk within, or control her to walk within what you want, or obey you at all times. You know, all those things that we come up with, it is not our fault. It's not anybody's fault. It is just the knowledge that we had or we were handed over to. Right? And that's why I keep telling parents, refuse not to stifle your mind to learn parenting. Because if you have accepted that, oh yes, the world is evolving, oh, we live in a tech world, and you have embraced technology to improve every other of your life, you've embraced technology in your business, you've embraced technology in academics, you've embraced technology literally running your life in everything, including your home chores. A machine does your washing, a machine does your kitchen cleaning, a machine does cutting of your grass in the house, a machine does literally everything for you. That's tech, right? And you have embraced it, right? Now, you embraced it even when you were not, or that was not handed over to you. You embraced it because you decided to learn how to use tech to improve your life. Because what I hear many parents say is, um, things like, for example, that's not how we were raised, and when we were raised, this and that happened, or you cannot tell a child to do this or do that, and all of those things, right? You were not also born in the time when tech has become a thing, but you embraced it. And the same way, you need to have open mind to embrace the learnings that you need to have as a parent. That's why we run the program in the academy, called the Build Your Home Tribe, where we intentionally bring parents into the practicability of building their homes, because it is our homes that make our individual homes that make up the society, and then the larger world where we all live and want to have things work out in the society and the world. But unfortunately, these things cannot work if the home front is not working. That's why we are talking about the skills, the modern skills, the contemporary skills that you need to have as a parent to be able to raise thriving children, right? That will bless you and bless humanity, that will be impactful to the world, that will serve God with their giftings, right? And one of those skills that we are looking at today is social skill, right? Even though we are talking about, even even though we are talking about how to teach a child to speak up, however, speaking up is a social skill. Speaking up, a child that will learn how to speak up must have been equipped with lots of social skills, right? So it is embedded in social skills, and we have moved from the templates, the parenting manual handed over to us, where we control, where we use force, where we want to make the children obey at us at all costs, because we were meant to believe that and all that, right? I usually tell parents that your child cannot obey you all the time because you're not God, right? You are a human being who is prone to mistakes. So what happens when you also make that mistake? That's why we must move from some of the templates that was handed over to us, some of the manuals that because there's no manual given to you. You saw this manual being used over the years, over time, and we all embraced it. We all picked it up from our own parenting or from our own parents and began to use them, right? So we have moved from those irrelevant templates, irrelevant manuals that are not helpful today in the evolving world where we live. They are no longer delivering a child that will thrive. They are no longer impactful for any human. These templates are the templates we are saying we must drop to be able to embrace the new templates that will help us run this parenting process and run it effectively. There's a difference between, just running your parenting and running it effectively. And today, one of those templates that we're picking from social skills is how to teach a child to speak up. Because speaking up shows a child who is confident, a child who have healthy self-esteem, a child who understands him or herself from the point of knowledge. A child who does not understand him or herself from a point of knowledge would definitely shy away, would definitely feel unheard, would definitely feel unqualified or not relevant, or not, just relegating him or herself at the background because he feels he does not deserve it, or if I say it, what will happen? Or somebody will say, no, 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 why will you say that and all that? So you shut yourself down. The child shuts himself down because he has always been shut down, right? That's why we're talking about this skill today, right? So these tools that we need to help our children begin to speak up is the tools of an involved society, involved world, ever changing world. So in our involved world, we have moved, right? We have moved from the threatening, from the shutting down, from the you close your mouth, you're not supposed to say it, and all of those things that were used in our time. We have moved from there to embrace the tools that will help our children, become who they really need to be, or who they really desire to become as God made them. So, what are the tools that we need to help our children become people who speak up against all? And by the way, speaking up does not mean you attack everything. You things that are taught to a child is taught something and he resists it or refuses it. That's not what speaking up is about. Speaking up is about building healthy self-esteem, healthy social skill that makes you feel that you want it, you deserve it, you need to be heard, your voice matters. And your child can never feel that way if you, the parent, if I, the parent, haven't made my child feel that they matter, that they deserve it, that they deserve to be heard, that the world needs to hear them. The world cannot hear them if you are not hearing them, right? So, number one thing, create a hitch free environment where your child feels loved, where your child feels loved, feel heard, where your child is expressive about their thoughts and their ideas, right? So if your child is not expressive about their thoughts and ideas, no matter how bad, no matter how um, uncultured it is, let them come out with that raw ideas. Let them come out with that raw thoughts, right? You hear siblings fighting or children fighting or saying something that does not, it doesn't look, is not kind. They're not kind with words, or they're not sounding healthy, right? And you just go all insulting or shut up, why that, and all that, right? So when you do those things, when you do not learn how to bring your ideas to reality for your child, you are already demeaning that child, right? And there's no way they can learn to speak up. One of the reasons why we run the Build a Home Tribe program is because one of the things I realized earlier as a parent is that many things we desire to teach our children, or we wish to teach our children, are just mere wishes, because many parents do not know the how, and most importantly, the why behind what you need to teach your child. And when you do not know the why, you will lose your power. You will lose, your identity, because your why is your identity. That's why you want to instill this why in your child. When a child knows his why, he's confident enough, or she's confident enough to put out his voice out there. But when their why is faint, or when their why is feeble, or when they do not even know their why at all, they feel they don't want it. They feel undeserving, right? And so they begin to shy away. So many times you say, oh, they are shy, oh, they are quiet, oh, they are not quiet, they are not shy. The reason why they cannot speak up is because you have made their voice faint. You have silenced their voice right from your home. You've made them feel that they cannot. What contribution do you want to put in here? Keep quiet. It's not all the time that a child talks, right? You know those words that we have constantly heard. We can all relate to that, because that's what we kept hearing as children. It's not all the time that a child talks. Close your mouth. You talk too much. This one, that one. All those things have silenced their mind, their voice, and it registers in their mind. It registers in your head. As an adult today, there are many things that you see go wrong, but you don't have the will and the courage to come, to talk about it or to speak about it, whether in a public place, whether anywhere you find yourself. You literally, go with the mantra of, it's their life, it's not my life, it doesn't concern me, how is it my business? Those mantras that we use to mask up our excuses. However, they are not excuses. They're actually, your faint voice, which has always been silenced, and you have now literally run with it because it's registered in your subconscious. So you're using that to mask up those excuses. It is not really masking up excuses, because you do not have the courage to face those things head square. So you use those excuses to bottle up and give yourself reason why you shouldn't talk about it. So if you must raise a child whose voice will matter, who feels his voice is, or her voice is what's being heard, or who feels that he or she needs to air their opinion over anything, then they must start with you. They must start with airing their opinion in your home, airing their opinion over anything and about everything. You must allow their thoughts, no matter how you think their thought is bad, or what he's saying is wrong, or is not doesn't is insultive, or whatever. You must learn how to bring your own opinion to reality. That's one of the things we do in the tribe. We teach you with a guide how to bring that opinion to reality, because you are also bringing up an opinion for them. However, for you to show them that your opinion is a super opinion, you must come with something higher than their own. That's why you are the guide, right? So you must allow your children's voice, create that environment with your parent-child relationship, with the kind of home you're running. Create an environment where they feel expressive with their thoughts, with their ideas, with their feelings, right? Do not shut your child's feeling down. They all matter to how they speak up over everything. Number two, let them question you. Be comfortable when your children question you. When children question us, we take it to be insult, we take it to be demeaning our authority, we take it to be disobedient, defiant, and all of the things that that could possibly mean if we do not guide our children well. However, we must allow our children to question the things we do, and you must be open-minded to answer the questions they put to you. Or when the children come up with questions like, when children come Am I still being heard? Our network is really dealing with us today. Am I still being heard? Let me see in the comments that I'm still being heard. So I was talking about questioning. When our children question us, we must be open-minded not to take it all personal. Because if they do not question you, they cannot question anything outside. They cannot question it. They will take everything hook, line, and sinker and will not be able to question it. But if they have the courage to say, Mom, but why is this done this way? And you are also, especially when it pertains to you personally as a parent, and you are open-minded to give your answers without feeling they are demeaning you, or without feeling they are relegating your authority, and all of those feelings that we come up with whenever, right? It will give them to be able to question the things that they are not comfortable with outside. I usually say no voice at home cannot have a voice outside. So be comfortable when your children question the things that they want to find out. They only want to find out these things that they are questioning about. They are not necessarily going against your authority as the parent. Number three, attentive listener. Be an attentive listener. Be an attentive listener. One of the things that I realized very early is that we want our children to listen to us, but we do not learn to listen to our children. So how will they learn to listen to us when we do not learn to listen to our children? I have a very practical scenario that I always share. Those days when my elder sister had younger children at the time, and so one of those days she spoke to her daughter, one of the children, and while she was trying to pass an information, she was on the top of her voice, screaming, like, what is wrong with you? This and that. And then the daughter held her two hands on her ears, right? And she reached out to me immediately and said, can you imagine? I was talking to this girl and she was closing her ears. And I said to her, so what does it mean? She said, that's the mark of disrespect. That she's telling me, because I'm always talking about, this parenting thing. Then I wasn't even, I don't think, okay, I was married, but I hadn't children at the time. So she was so angry, like, I just feel like beating the hell out of this girl, but I need to talk to you and all of those things. And I said, okay, good. Now you have identified a problem. Can you get to the root of this problem? Can you later leave this issue now that you are feeling all soaked up with anger? Later in the day, or later tomorrow, or after a while, when you are in the right frame of mind to talk about it, can you ask this child? The child was around 5 at the time. Why were you closing your ears when I was talking to you? And you will have your answers right inside your hands. And then she left that issue, I think over 2 days or so, and just came up with it as conversation, like I told her. Come up with it like a conversation, and like, something to play around, you know. And she called the daughter and said to her, "Why were you closing your eyes 2 days ago when I was talking to you? Like, I really didn't get what you were doing. Why were you doing that?" And the daughter said, "Mommy, I wasn't hearing you. You were just shouting and screaming. You weren't talking to me. You were screaming. So I needed to cover my ears because you were screaming on the top of your voice and it was disturbing my head." And when she reached out to me to say, "Look at what she said," I said, "Good. Now you have your answers in your hands, right? You weren't communicating. You were shouting. That's not communication. And then you haven't also learned to listen. That's why they cannot also listen. Model the active listening skill to your children. That's another way to give them a voice. When when they are talking to you, show them that you're interested in this conversation. Okay, right? Like, I'm hearing you and you're contributing. Oh, really? I shared all of those things in my book, Life Begins from Childhood. If you've not gotten a copy of that book, by the way, you need to get a copy of that book. Sorry about that. We live in a third world country, so our network keep, booting us out and in, and it's no fault of ours. Sorry about that. Right? So I was talking about those skills practically shared in the book Life Begins from Childhood, because if you do not model to your children active listening, they will not learn to listen. Number 4, effective communication. Speak to your children through effective communication, not just screaming and shouting, right? Or dishing instructions, right? You need to model assertive and respectful way of talking. When children talk, sometimes there are children who come up and as they are talking to you, they are throwing tantrum, they are whining, they are using unkind words and all of that. You don't need to enter into the squabble with the child. You don't need to start fighting with the child at that point. You need to take a deep breath, and then halt it, pause, and take a deep breath. And afterwards, you can come back to teach the child. It is possible your child does not understand what effective communication is about. It is possible they do not know. And I can tell you for sure that many times they really do not know. I remember talking to our children about honor, and I'll quote scriptures, when they were quite young. And then one of the days, my my second child said something, and I said, that's unkind. There's no mark of honor in what you just said. And you didn't say it. He said, "Mommy, you have been talking about honor and honor and honor. I really do not know what honor is. You have not told me practically what honor is." And I'm like, wow. Because for me, I have always talked about honor. Oh, when they were little, oh, God said, "Honor thy father and thy mother," this and that. So I've always talked about honor. And I've shown them the dictionary, not modeling for them to really understand how it is, right? Because many times you may just say that a child honor is a higher, skill. Because many times my child may not obey me all the time, but they may honor to do a thing even when it may not be convenient for them, but because they honor me, they will do that. Perspectives, what honor is about, I began to use scenario daily to share them. So at that time, we used almost every month was honor. And this is one of the things I teach parents of the Build Your Home Tribe, right? So when we new month with a theme that we want to teach our children something, about a particular skill that just matter to you or the family, or what they have not learned, or what they have not built, or what they are growing into, and you begin to teach it often and on. Even after that month, you begin to build it practically in that thing. I'm not going to digress. I'm just trying to show how you must practically show children how those things are done, because you may just be saying it and they do not understand what you mean, or say it assertively. You may not know that they don't know how to do these things because you have not practically shown them. So when I teach children of effective communication, I tell them to raise their voice, their opinion, not their voice, right? So their opinion is basically for you to know. Effective communication starts with a firm voice, not shouting, not raising voice, but a firm, kind voice. A firm, kind voice where the child can effectively bring down his voice down and be able to say a thing without agitation, without being angry, without fighting, and getting emotionally overwhelmed. Right? They are able to air their opinion. Effective communication starts from there. Firm voice, assertive words, without insult, without bullying, without trying to show the next person that you're stupid, you didn't say it well, and all of those things. Right? That's effective communication. So you need to teach your children to raise their opinion, not their voice. Right? So become assertive with words, become kind with words. So I literally become kind with words, or became kind with words, for the children to understand the choice of words that should be used in the home. And that's how to raise your opinion and not your voice. Right? So my opinion was what I was trying to sell, my assertiveness of what I was trying to sell, not the voice, roaring and just making noise and shouting, and everybody shouting at each other and all of those things. And the last but not the least is to teach your children how to express their needs, how to express their wants, how to express their desires without being aggressive, right? That literally makes their voice count. That literally makes their voice count, right? So in the cases of disagreement, for example, you will not agree with your child all the time. They will not also agree with you all the time. That's what makes the difference. You can disagree, kindly disagree, and complement each other without fighting. That's how to learn conflict resolution also. That's how to teach children conflict resolution also, right? Disagreement does not mean, oh, we must become apathy, we must become enemies. The reason why siblings will disagree and they become enemies and become people that they may not even talk to themselves again, and they start having issues and issues and issues, is because we were not taught to disagree without fights. We can disagree to agree, right? We can disagree to agree. So teach your children that their voice is engraved in trying to express themselves and trying to express what they deserve, what they want to be known with, what they want their opinion to be, without being aggressive, without being showing entitlement. One of the things I see recently is that parents are really raising children that are entitled. They are commanding, they are giving you orders of what to do, and you must do it their way and all that. Entitlement mentality is one of the destruction that have ravaged humanity through parenting. Because we raise children who do not know how to come up with their opinion without being entitled, right? That will make their voice not to count. If their voice must count, if their voice must be heard, if they must speak up in events or activities where they need to without getting agitated and getting all into squabble and fight and all of those rough roads, our voice, then we must teach them to air their view, show their out getting into apathy or getting into disagreements for just fighting sake. Round table to agree when we have all seen or heard our different perspectives and opinions. that the higher opinion or the higher perspective takes the lead. So when you bring your, we look at the one that have a broader perspective or a higher, irrespective of who brought that opinion, even if you're, provided that opinion gives us higher value, we go by. That's one of the fights that we have in the society. It must be because this person is higher or this status is, bigger or known and all of those things. We place those things as criteria for a voice that should be heard. That's not how to raise a child that will be, that the voice will be heard, or the voice that will speak up. Right? We must show everyone that your voice matter. Your voice, you deserve to be heard. Right? And that's the only way we can bring up all of these things in the home. Let the children know that their voice counts, and let everybody know that yes, my opinion also matters. So if you have opinion that offers us broader values, then we go by your opinion, right? With these few points, I hope I have made valuable inputs to you today in your parenting on how to raise a child who will learn to speak up, right? Thank you everybody who joined us. Our YouTube videos are always short and simple. It's within the ranges of 20 to 30 minutes. And if you have any question, please drop in the comments. We'll answer your question. Tag your friends and share this video with other friends, other family members, friends, colleagues. Let them also learn from what we share every week on our YouTube channel and other platforms. Thank you everyone for joining, and we'll see you again on Thursday next week. And by the way, every Thursday we have live sessions here on YouTube. Very short time that we usually spend on our channel when we come up live. So 20 to 30 minutes, we are done with a particular topic, but we are sure to give you value. Right? Thank you so much. And Jane says she has a question, but she'll have to in the tribe. By the way, if you're not a parent in the tribe, do not miss the opportunity of joining the tribe this year. We have opened up the last cohort of the year, and registration is ongoing. You can join immediately today as you're listening to me. Book your slot with 5,000 naira and you're already in the tribe, and then other conversations continues from there. Right? When we close up the cohorts that we have opened now, we means that you have to wait for 2025. So jump at it immediately. Send us a DM, send us a message in any of our platforms. Everywhere, our lines are everywhere. Send us a DM on how to get started, book your slot, and get into the tribe. That's where we practically learn how to really do this parenting, right? So when we share all of the things that we share, we call them tips. We call them tips because they are just, tips that even though we know that are value loaded, but they are tips that we share. When you come into the tribe, that's when you really put your hands on the practicability of what parenting skills is about, and the tangibility will be made clear to you. Thank you so much for joining, and do have an amazing day. Please subscribe if you've not. Tap your notification button so that when we come up live every week, you will know that we are already live in any session, right? Do have an amazing day and do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.